But have you ever had that where you wear something and you think, oh, I look nice, but then like you get like an old man that's staring at you, or like a creepy guy's like, hey girl, and you're like, and he's following you down the street, and you're I'm John Maria and Letty. I've got a short clip I want you guys to react to, and then we're going to discuss together. It's a Muslim woman who's on the Trevor Noah show. I don't know if you've heard of Trevor Noah. It's like an American show. We're not in America, so we don't really care. And she's talking about why she wears hijab. It's a very small clip, and then we're going to discuss it together.
I want to ask you another question, though. I know you're the guy asking me. When you talk about oppression, when we talk about oppression, I think that the concept's really important and interesting, because oppression means the taking away of someone's power, right? And what hijab does is it basically privatizes women's sexuality. That's essentially what it does. So what are we saying when we say that by taking away or privatizing a woman's sexuality, we're oppressing her? What does that mean? What is that saying about the source of a woman's power?
We're saying that a woman is only strong if she's sexy in public?
Yeah!
Did I get it?
Yes!
Yes! Yes! Oh!
Okay, what are our initial thoughts and feelings after hearing that? Let's start with Maria.
I mean, it's a fair point. It's good to obviously, not always be exposed and be out there. Like, I understand the modest part of it, which is nice. But I think obviously for some people, they might think it's very extreme to cover up. So they're like, oh, why would you do that to a woman, and take it to negative?
Yeah.
But I think also for women, it probably makes them feel comfortable. I mean, I have no idea what it feels like to wear hijab and etc. But I imagine it's probably comfortable for them as well in the long run. But also they're serving, God.
Yeah, because I've always seen like the debate, which is women have a choice that if they want to wear a bikini, they can wear a bikini. If they want to wear a hijab, they can wear a hijab. And you shouldn't force them to not do or do either. But I think the way that she explained it was very succinct and made me realize, well, actually, you are actually diminishing women, and you're saying that they are sex objects through not letting that. Yeah, that helps me understand the other side more. Yeah.
It's interesting because you find in a lot of the countries that are very like pro, what you said about pro-choice, in terms of like you can wear a bikini if you want, you don't have to, you wear whatever you want kind of thing. Like France, for example, they actually banned hijab.
So I understood it from both ways, in that you shouldn't force a woman to not wear a hijab if she wants to. But also the way that she explained it added more depth, like explaining why.
But it's human right as well, because that's their own choice. So, but I think also social media, like with all this subliminal messages of people have to dress like this, have to look like this, that also plays a part in women's like way of thinking as well, kind of brainwashing in a way.
And at least if you just cover up, then you don't have to worry. You probably have less insecurities, right?
Yeah, it's like you're pretty much telling the world, I'm not in that race anymore. Like, bye-bye. Like, I think the last thing a man's gonna do when he looks at me and goes, is that girl sexy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of think when they look at me, they're like, they don't put me in that competition anymore. I'm like not in that race of like, does that make sense? That's how I feel personally.
Yeah. Because there was actually a point where no offense to short hair girls, sorry, but I cut my hair on purpose just because I felt like more men were looking at me with long hair, like during the pandemic when men were like particularly sexually frustrated, and I was like, this isn't for you. I didn't do this for you. And then I cut it specifically to take myself away from the male gaze, so I can understand why.
That's really interesting. And I think a lot of people in Islam who are not Muslim, they think that we like hate women's beauty, that we're like trying to take women's beauty away from them. Actually, we just believe that women are allowed, and actually it's encouraged to be beautiful, right? We're allowed to have our beauty. We're just not allowed to put it in places where it could potentially be abused and not appreciated. So like we're allowed to have our beauty with people that love us, like our husband. You know, in an ideal world, you marry someone who loves you, and there's someone that cherishes you. They shower you with compliments. It's a love relationship, and you can put is encouraged to put your beauty there and to show that, you know, you can be loving and beautiful. But then in places where somebody might like degrade you or abuse you, you don't put your beauty. That's kind of the way we see it. So it's not like you're not allowed to wear like sexy clothes, you're not allowed to look beautiful. It's you're only allowed to do it in a place where it's going to be appreciated.
Yeah.
And I think we might do that. I think Westerners do that, especially in London. I know that when I get on the tube, I don't dress up. I don't dress up for the streets in Zone 3. Maybe
Zone 3.
Not that anybody in Zone 1 is much better, but, you know, I don't want to be attracting attention. Yeah. So I think we do actually make that choice every day without realizing.
I know personally for me, like I would, like before I became Muslim, I would sometimes dress in a way because I was trying to get somebody's, like maybe one specific person's attention, or maybe like a few people's attention. But have you ever had that where you like, you wear something and you think, oh, I look nice, but then like you get like an old man that's staring at you, or like a creepy guy's like, hey girl, and you're like, and he's following you down the street, and you're like, it's just the thing, we can't pick and choose, right? We can't say like you're not allowed to look, you're allowed to look. So this is kind of like what we're trying to protect here. Have you ever felt that way, like this creepy men like following you or staring at you, and it made you feel uncomfortable?
I just don't look at anyone. I'm in my own world. I walk really fast. I just don't bother like even looking, because if I can feel it with my peripheral vision, I just look at my phone or listen to some music.
I don't think there's any woman in the world that's going to say I like that weird old man staring at me. Like it just feels uncomfortable, it just feels weird. And I think going into what you were kind of building on earlier with the social media, there is so much in our culture that really emphasize women's beauty, sexuality. Like if you're not beautiful, if you're not dressing in a sexy way, then you're not valued in society. A lot of it now, especially for the young girls and the younger generations, is getting crazier. And social media is really like playing on that. Films, music industry is all like making us feel like we're not enough. We have to constantly do more in terms of beauty or less clothes or whatever it is to get more attention, because we're kind of slowly fading into the background. If you're not sexy and beautiful, you're fading into the background.
I think it's accurate, to be honest. I think
they make it seem like your worth diminishes with age.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that too.
Especially in the film industry. Come on, like they're not hiring women over a certain age. It's really bad.
Yeah, they don't allow you to just like be you,
to age,
like, or age, or just not wear makeup or whatever it is, or wear this or wear that. So it's not good for the young generation, because that's
it's just making you try and live up to these standards that aren't realistic, because they're set by celebrities who have personal stylists on hand like all the time. And I kind of think that celebrities could give themselves a break too, because what are they doing? They're just, you know.
It's really interesting because a lot of people say that this comes from feminism, but who do you think's really gaining from this hypersexuality of society? Do you think the women are gaining from it, or do you think the men are gaining from
definitely the men?
Whoever is at the top, the elite, the people that really benefit from the economy, or you know,
I mean,
industry.
Sex sells as well. That's also another thing.
It's used to promote other businesses. Apart from, I suppose, well, actually a bit controversial, the women who profit directly off of their sexuality, maybe.
You mean like OnlyFans?
Yeah. But not for me, but, you know, other women, I suppose, you know, it's been like a subject of conversation. I've been like, well, I suppose fair enough. If the money's going directly in their pocket and they're comfortable with it and they don't feel like it's so much of a sacrifice, then good for them. But for me, it would be too much of a sacrifice.
I see a lot of people say, like, this is something that's happened recently, like ages ago people weren't doing this, like, oh, the OnlyFans people, like, we should celebrate them as women, you know, this kind of thing. And I feel like what I built on earlier when I said, like, women don't feel comfortable when they have that random man staring at them or leeching over them, whatever, following them. I really don't believe it's in any of our nature to be like okay with that stuff, to actually feel like okay in ourselves and happy. But I do think society is very much like, yeah, you go girl, like you do you. But I feel like if we were to really like come from a loving place, like if you had a daughter, the ultimate love, right? A mother-daughter relationship. Your daughter, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to want her doing things like that, because you are going to want her to have that love in herself where she doesn't feel the need to put herself out in that way and get disrespected by random old bald fat men. Sorry, guys.
I definitely think, those women for sure are, in my opinion, spiritually disconnected. But because I try and like
be nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just kind of think, okay, well, yeah, good for you.
And I think being nice is like, it's always important to be nice to people and like not to be like, you're the worst person in the world, stop doing what you're doing. But sometimes like that kind of loving advice can be okay, especially if you know the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I think we should do more as a female species to try and help our sisters and not just be like scared of like, because the culture's so promoting of homosexuality, to be like, okay, I'm going against my culture. To be like, okay, let's try and like actually support each other and be good with each other. And like a lot of people I know that have gone into that industry, like OnlyFans or porn industry, things like that, it's not come from a good place. It's come from like an extreme source of heartbreak or child trauma.
It always stems from something to do those sort of actions. But
I don't know if I should mention Bonnie Blue or maybe not, but yeah, when I was watching a documentary of hers, she said that she had like a normal upbringing. So I was a bit surprised when she said that, because she really is quite extreme.
Do you feel like you view hijab differently after hearing that?
Yeah, I mean, I was always accepting, but knowing that it can actually be the complete reverse of what I originally thought, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like what she said before about a lot of people say hijab's oppression and then thinking what that means when you're saying that, right? Well, exactly what she said in the video. When you're saying hijab's oppression, you're saying that women's source of power is her sexuality, and then when you're taking her sexuality away from her in public, then therefore she's not powerful anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you can be powerful with the hijab either way, so nothing is taken away from you. I think just people just make things up always out of fear. That this might happen, that might happen, but it just depends on the individual, how they show up to the world and what they bring to the table as well, with their energy and who they are as a person.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Assalamu alaikum.